Looks like the audio is good. I don't hear any issues so far. Testing 1 2 3 1 2 3. Making sure that everything's all right. Yep, everything's all right. All right, Shalom. Welcome back to another lesson. All right, Shalom to you, Akim, and you Akwaf out there. Let me go ahead and pause this real quick. I'd like to start off by giving all praises, honors, and glories due, as always, to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, or the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, who rule and teach well. All right, these men are the true leaders of Israel today. And last but not least, all right, you fellow believers out there, the men, women, and children, all right, that believe in our testimony, to you I say shalom, and to the fellow laborers that make their bodies as a living sacrifice, all right, you teachers and you prophets, to you I say shalom wherever you may be located, and may the blessing of election touch you and your household. All right, shalom to the elect, hopeful elect. I'm gonna do I'll see where the spirit takes me, but I have a few scriptures lined up. I wanted to address this video, seeing this video pop up, and give me a second. Give me a second. More scriptures are coming to mind, so let me bring this out. Go ahead and line it up there. More scriptures are coming out. Okay, and let me get this right here. You know what? I'll go ahead and save that later. I'm not gonna get that. Anyways, I wanted to address this video right here. As you can see, Zendaya's whitewashed picture spark furore, right? Which I think is fury in Italian. Furore. Furore is an outbreak of public anger. It's a town and a commune in the province of Salerno in the Campania region of southwestern Italy. So this is towards the south, right next to the Amalfi Coast, Positano, Ravello, Adrani, right? trying to mimic my Italian accent, but it's near the southern western part, which is like towards the tip, right under Naples, or Neapolitano, right? That Neapolitano region. Okay, so furor or furore. See how they spell it. Furor, right? Furor or furore, an outbreak of public anger or excitement, and in this case, it's a public anger, right? Commotion, uproar, outcry, because what they're doing is these racist ass Ammonites, these delusional Ammonites, is they're whitewashing Zendaya. And if you know who Zendaya is, she's a very famous Israelite woman, right? A very famous Israelite woman that's all up into the entertainment industry. In fact, I could bring out pictures of her father, right? Her father is Kanzambe Ajumu Coleman, right? And I forgot where he's from, but he's definitely a Jake. You could tell just by looking at the pictures. This is her father right here, right? This is her father and her mother. So lineage is determined by the house of their father. So her father is a Jake, making her to be a Jake as well. You know, as you can see that she has the complexion, a little bit of her mother. She's kind of like mixed, right? Like right in between. Sometimes, during the winter, she can look like her mother, and during the summer, she becomes darker, like real dark, and she looks like that. Okay, you can see a picture of her and her mother. They look closely identical, right? So there's that. See another picture here. But what they did is, in this ad, because Zendaya, she has melanin. She's like of a brown complexion, and my sister, she almost has the same complexion as Zendaya, just a tad bit darker. She's like the same complexion as Apostle Har, but just a little bit darker, right? So during the wintertime, my sister, she gets really, really pale, and she'll look like Apostle Ramlab, right? That type of skin complexion. But towards the summer, her skin gets very tan and dark, and then she would have like that dark brown, light brown complexion. It's interesting, you know. You can have totally different skin complexions during the seasons. But in this case, right, Zendaya, they knowing that she has a bit of melanin, they went ahead and whitewashed photos, which caused a huge uproar, especially amongst the Israelite community, the J community, and you have a lot of so-called black women who follow Zendaya religiously, right? Because she's one of our own. You know, she's an Israelite, and you could tell by how she conducts herself. So before I play this video, I got hit with a copyright strike on my last video. God damn it! Fair use, fair use, fair use. Right, the Fair Use Act. Fair use. Oh no, let's try to get this a bigger one. I know they're gonna take this video down or put a copyright on it. It's so stupid, man. This is fair use, the Fair Use Act, USC 107, right? Act 17. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video disc under certain circumstances, right? Without authorization of the copyright holder. Fair use, fair use. Okay. Alright, without further ado, let me play this video. Let me skip ahead. Okay, it's coming up.
And for our next story, I want to ask you, how much value do you put on someone's skin color? Because in South Korea, the whiter the better. You heard that right. Sample this. Hollywood superstar Zendaya, an accomplished Emmy Award-winning young actress. She happens to be black and proud. That does not matter in South Korea because several of her photos taken during the promotional tour of her upcoming movie Dune 2 were completely whitewashed. Fans were left aghast when they noticed that Zendaya's complexion had been lightened up. And in some of the pictures, she
And
looks
you can tell that they lighten up her complexion because she's not nearly as pale as this. You know, she's like the complexion of this lady right here, which you know appears to be an Elamite woman. She's of that complexion.
as white as her Caucasian castmates. These pictures have invited backlash from netizens. But this is not the first time an artist has been whitewashed by Korean media. Even Korean artists have been subjected to this humiliating exercise. And this episode has once again sparked a massive debate around South Korea's obsession with white skin. It's not really racism, it's colorism, meaning there is a preference for people with light
And
skin.
they have a lot of dark skinned Koreans. A lot of these Koreans, these Ammonites, they are very dark. But what they do, same thing with Jake over there in Africa, is that they get these skin bleaching creams and bleach themselves to what they think is perfection, right? And then after that, they'll get surgery on their eyes to get rid of their, uh, I gotta say, their Down syndrome looks, right? Because if you know how Ammon and Moab was formed, it's through lust, not lust, through incest. Through incest, by having sex with their father, they produce these children. Okay, so these Asians, or let me say these Orientals, like South Asians, because Southeast Asians are mainly Japhites. These South Asians, they have Down syndrome look because of Lot. You know, a Lot, you know, sleeping with his daughters, you know, through intoxication. He was intoxicated. That's when they committed this act. So now what's happening is that these Gooks or these Moabites and Ammonites, they're what they're doing is they're changing their looks to try to look like the so-called white man, and this practice has been in place in South Korea, from what I've researched, for a very long time. It's only now in this modern age with Esau's influence, as the scripture says, Job 9:24, Esau, the world is given into the hands of the wicked. So this only, I guess you could say, it only hyperventilates this process of them hating themselves, and this is a plague, okay, that Esau has put on the whole world, because according to the scriptures, pale skin is a curse. It's leprosy. In fact, let's go ahead and get that. I think it's there's many scriptures that talks about it. Let me go to, there's one in Leviticus, right? Let me type in leprosy and see what comes up. I don't know the exact. Okay, there's one in Leviticus 13. There's one in Leviticus 19 too. If I'm not. Okay, so I think it's Leviticus 13 and 14. Let's look it up here. It says here. Yep. Let's get it right here. Okay, let's go to Leviticus 13 right here. And it says, "And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, When a man shall have in the skin of his flesh a rising scab, right, or a bright spot, and it be in the skin of his flesh like the plague of leprosy, that he shall be brought unto Aaron the priest, or unto one of his sons the priest. And the priest shall look on the plague in the skin of the flesh, and when the hair in the plague is turned white, right, the hair in the plague, and the plague in sight be deeper than the skin of his flesh, it is a plague of leprosy, right? And the priest shall look on him and pronounce him unclean. Now, if the bright spot be white in the skin of the flesh, and his sight be not deeper than the skin, and hair thereof be not turned white, then the priest shall shut him up that has the plague 7 days. Now let's jump down to where it talks about it breaking out all over the flesh. Uh, yep, this is talking about blonde hair, right? Blonde hair is also leprosy as well. You can see it talks about the yellow thin hair, but I'm looking for the one. Let's see. I'm looking for one where it talks about his whole skin turning pale, right? Uh, it talks about leprosy breaking out of boils. When you have a boil, right? Leprosy can form there too as well. Uh, okay, here it is. It says verse. It says here verse 10, right? If the priest shall see him, and behold, if the rising be white in the skin, and have turned the hair white, and there be quick raw flesh in the rising, it is an old leprosy in the skin of his flesh, and the priest shall pronounce him unclean, and shall not shut him up, for he is unclean. And if leprosy break out abroad in the skin, and the leprosy cover all the skin of him that has the plague from his head even to his foot, right? This is what Esau has. He has that plague all over his body. Wheresoever the priest looketh, then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy have covered all his flesh, he shall pronounce him clean that has the plague. It is all turned white. He is clean. So, in this instance, right, when you have spots of leprosy on your skin, you are unclean. But if your whole skin turns pale white, you have become clean. And that's why Esau, he's a clean leopard, because he has that pale skin all over his body, right? Which is really translucent skin, which is a curse, right? Pursuant to all the way to the time of Cain, right? Whosoever shall look upon me shall slay me, right? Because he had that pale skin. And he was the only human at that time, right, who had that curse. So he was an outsider in society at that time. If anybody would have seen him, they would have thought that he had a disease, something serious, something crazy. Imagine this: you're living in the BC period, right? And everyone else around you is all different shades of brown, from the darkest brown to the lightest of brown. And you see somebody who just had totally pale skin, looks like a complete ghost. When he gets out in the sun, he turns red. He has yellow, stringy hair, right? Leprosy of the eyes, not enough melanin in his eyes. You're gonna look at that and say, "What the fuck?" You're gonna be scared to get around him. You wouldn't allow him to enter your town or villages. That's why King was referred to as a vagabond, right? He was as a someone who didn't have a dwelling place, a sojourner, because nobody accepted him. Okay, he was an outcast, and anybody who's seen that mark, they got scared, right? Because they think, oh my goodness, this is a disease. We have to get rid of this nigga. And they still do that, in Africa, right? In places in Africa where if they see somebody who has leprosy, like these are dark skinned people who have leprosy, right? You can still see the afro hair, but it turned blonde. They would kill them because they think that it goes back to the scriptures. They think that that person, has been cursed by the devil or witchcraft or whatever. It's a little bugged out, and I don't really condone that type of practice. Putting people to death like that. Some of these jakes down there in Africa, they take things to an extreme. You know, Scripture says everything is lawful but not expedient, and even that is not lawful to put a leper to death. I don't think I have ever found that anywhere in the law. So there's that. Let's go to the one where it talks about. Let's go to Leviticus 14. Let's see what it says there, right? All right. Okay. So this talks about the cleansing a leprous house, right? Leprosy in the house is what's that thing? Like that like moist when your house is moisted up and has that damn, I forgot the word for it. It's like that moss looking thing. Uh Fungus. It's like a type of fungus that grows in the house when your house is not dried up. It happens when it rains and the rain enters the house and the wood and everything, and it soaks it up. And after a few days, you start getting that fungus that forms out. That's when your house become leprous. But I'm going to go to Numbers, the 12th chapter, and I'm going to show you that leprosy is a curse. Now, this is Miriam and Aaron, and there's no coincidence that I did that video. My latest video was talking about the insecurities of our people. Now, a lot of our women, they're in the spirit of Miriam. A lot of our women reject the idea of us just having children with heathen women, right? Because they think that they're the one who determines the nationality of the child, which goes back to feminism, and it goes back to really it's a Western ideology that a woman matters, right? In terms of when it comes to the scriptures, okay. It says here, Numbers 12, verse 1, and Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman who he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman, and this woman was a Cushite, right? And Moses was married to her, and Aaron, I expected Miriam to buck up, but for Aaron to buck up, that shows how simple he was back then. And they said, have the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses? Has he not spoken also by us? And the Lord heard it. So they were talking shit. They were like, look, nigga, look, just because the Lord spoke to you, that doesn't make you special. The Lord also spoke to us too. So we have a say in what you can do and can't do. So this pissed the Lord off. Now the man Moses was very meek. He was humble above all the men which were upon the face of the earth. And for him not to rebuke Miriam and Aaron when they did this shows how humble he is, because he how do I say it? He my brain. What's the word I'm looking for? He valued the opinion of others, especially those within his circle. And Aaron was a respectable man unto Moses. He was like his right hand man, you know. And Miriam is Moses' sister, so of course they had, he was a little soft and rebuking them, right? And the Lord spoke suddenly unto Moses and unto Aaron and unto Miriam, come out ye three unto the tabernacle of the congregation, and they three came out. And the Lord came down in the pillar of the cloud, right? Yahweh Shem Yahshai came down in the pillar of the cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forth. So that was the chariot came down, okay? And he said, hear now my words, if there be a prophet among you, I, the Lord Yahweh, will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream. Okay? My servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all mine house. And he was saying that I deal directly with Moses, unlike all the other prophets, With the prophets, the Lord made himself known in a vision, in a dream, by giving him these prophecies. But with Moses, totally different. He dealt with Moses face to face. Okay? With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches and in plain words. Not with uh, not with parables or dark sayings. You're right. Everything was plain when it was given to Moses, and the similitude of the Lord shall he behold. Wherefore then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? They didn't have any fear. The scriptures always recall, when you step into the house of the Lord, keep thy foot, and shut your mouth. And this is a lesson that can be learned by your rebellious Israelite sisters. Not you sisters out there that are doing the right thing, but you rebellious ones, which uh, for that sister who made that stupid comment on the elders comment board, I perceive that this lady, right, she hasn't been watching us for a long time, and she probably watches a bunch of old other Israelite groups before she found us, and then she watched her brother's video and had a problem with what was being said about the kingdom of heaven. In these other different camps, they allow you women to say whatever the hell you want. But when it comes to Great Millstone, we're all about order, I think that's in Timothy, where it says, I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp liberty, right, over a man, but to be in subject in silence. So this is wise words and advice from the scriptures concerning how a woman should conduct herself, and uh, yeah, it should be taken to heart. Now I'm going to continue reading down. It says, verse 8, and the similitude of the Lord shall he behold. Wherefore then were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? Right? And the anger of the Lord was kindled against them, and he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, so the chariot descended up, right? It ascended up, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow, right? Now, if this were to happen now, a lot of you Israelite women will rejoice. Oh my goodness, I look like a white woman now. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. So I'm guessing, Aaron, he almost had a heart attack when he seen this shit. He's like, oh shit. Like, goodness, man. Looking like Ishashwa. And Aaron said unto Moses, alas, my Lord, I beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly and wherein we have sinned. So it is a sin to look like a so-called white person. It is a sin to look like a so-called white person. But through Esau's rulership, he has convinced these dumb heathens and even our own people that white is right. And this is one of the many refuge of lies that the Lord is coming down to destroy. Right? He's coming down to destroy this retarded standard of beauty. And this is why a lot of you Israelite women, right, even the Northern Kingdom, you guys always stress about um what's that saying? Blanqueamiento, white in the race, blanqueamiento la raza, white in the race. Okay, it's a saying down there in Latin America, right? Where if any child marries someone who's paler than them, has pale complexion, right? That pale complexion person can be an Israelite, but they will start praising, hey, the child's gonna come out looking white. Yes, yes, sir. And there'll be a huge celebration. They'll congratulate the daughter or the son who may have married that individual. You know, people will start treating her better because she's now whitening the race. It's just, it's fucking crazy, man. It's self hatred. A lot of you tribes have self hatred within you, okay? And it's understandable because you know we are a conquered people. But damn, man, this is why the Lord is only coming back to take the elect. Because if we were to have a referendum, a vote, right? The Lord hosts a referendum upon all Israelites. We're just talking about here in America. Them niggas outside, you know, them Israelite outside of America, they if they're not of the elect, they're gonna be part of those rebels. But just here in America, right? And we held a vote, man, we would lose dramatically. It would be like a 5% vote. The others, they swing to the other half of keeping this rulership. You know, so that's why the Lord, He's not coming back to deliver all of Israel. He's coming back to deliver the elect. Because we can't have that same situation play out just like it did in the wilderness. Okay? Verse 11, verse 12. Let her not be as one dead, whom the flesh is half consumed when he cometh out of his mother's womb. And this is a direct hit to Esau, which Esau means Ishashua, which translates to wasted away, right? Because his pigment was wasted. That's what it means. And Moses cried unto the Lord, saying, heal her now, O power, right? O Allah, I beseech thee. And the Lord said unto Moses, if her father had but spit in her face, should she not be ashamed 7 days? Let her be shut out from the camp 7 days, and after that let her be received in again. So, you know, the Miriam was put out the camp. She had to stay in the wilderness, had to survive on her own. They were not allowed to bring her food. She was asked out, and then after 7 days were completed, she was finally let back in. You know, but that shows you the seriousness, right, of looking like a so-called white person. Now, in this modern day and age, you know, from the dark ages even until now, you have a lot of Israelites that look like so-called white people. They have that curse of leprosy, okay? And, you know, that's all a part, you know, of the curse pursuant to Deuteronomy 28 verse 64 of Israel being scattered among all the nations. So you even have seed of Israel, right? Israelites that will have that cursed leper skin. It's a curse of leprosy. Okay. Now I'm gonna transition to let's go to Ezekiel 28, right? I had this pulled up, and the reason why I had this pulled up is because Esau's image is on top. Okay, and this will go into the mindset of Edom and how he thinks that he is the Most High, right? It says here, Ezekiel 28, and you can see the heading, Tyre's king overthrown. Now, Tyre was an ancient Phoenician city, okay? If you don't know about Tyre, in fact, let's go into the concordance of Tyrus, right? Tyrus or Tyre equals a rock. That's what it means in Hebrew. Sarah, right? I think it's Sarah. and it means or it is a Phoenician city on the Mediterranean coast, a place in Palestine. And I think I can look up an image of Tyre and see where it's located. Is a city in Lebanon, right? City in Lebanon. Yep, here it is. Tyre is right up there next to Beirut. You can see it's right there in Lebanon. This is where Phoenicia was. You had the Phoenicians up here, and then you had the Canaanites somewhere down here. So we were surrounded by two enemies at one point in time. Okay, and Lebanon is gonna come back to us. Lebanon, that whole area, right? Which the Lebanese people are really Syrians. They're not Arabs. They're Syrians. The same as the people from Syria, right? Aramaeans to be exact. Uh, so let's get back to it, Tyree. How do I? This can be annoying. I don't know how to. I guess I have to hit backspace. Okay, there we go. And it says, Son of man, say unto Prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God, right? You see how, you notice how it says the uppercase G and not the lowercase g? Esau really thinks that he's the Most High, okay? I sit in the seat of the Most High in the midst of the seas, right? In the midst of the people, and seas represents the people, yet thou art a man and not the Most High, though thou set thine heart as the heart of the Most High. So Esau, in the time of the Renaissance, right, the latter end of the Renaissance, with the Rothschilds coming up, the 1700s, they started establishing that what they look like is the standard of beauty. And during that same time period, you also had what is called evolution, right? The theory of evolution. It came around during that time period, and you also had there's another one. You had the theory of mankind, which is based on these three races, which Esau deems as races, right? These three races. You have the Mongoloids, the Negroids, and the Caucasoids. Okay, this is just a hijacked version of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And Esau placed himself as Japheth, right, which is with the Caucasoids. And he also placed the Arabs and the North Africans under that same banner, right? And this is the forefront of the racism that you see now within the world, okay? All these different nations, they started upholding that that standard of beauty, okay? And it all stemmed during the 1700s. So this was the time period where Esau started setting himself as the Most High. They even whitewashed images of the Savior, okay, and made him look like him, right? He had the Borgia family. So this is the damage that Esau has done on the whole world, and even our own people, okay? Because our own people are messed the hell up. Look at Ephraim. Ephraim just cannot let go of that Cesare Borgia image. They just can't. So let's go to 2 Thessalonians, okay? 2 verse 4, it says, let me read a verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first. And we fell as a people. Okay, the northern kingdom got taken away to Assyria, and then you had a split. This is not written in scriptures, but you had a split. Okay, and this is what historians say. The northern kingdom, half of them stayed in the Middle East, and they went to Iran, right? Places like India. They left seed over there, and then the rest went up into Russia and spread all over Europe. Okay, that's written by many historians. You have Pliny, the Roman historian Pliny. You have the Roman historian Josephus. Okay, even can't think of the historian right now. There's also another Greek historian. I think it was Aristotle that also commented on the migration of the Northern Kingdom. I could be wrong. Okay, and then the other half of the Northern Kingdom, they went to the Americas, right, by journeying down the Euphrates River, all around, the Horn of Africa, right, coming down towards South Africa and into South America, and then from there they spread all over the Americas, pursuant to Genesis the 49th chapter, and each tribe dwelt in the land that was stated that they were going to dwell in, right, according to Genesis the 49th chapter. Gad in the Americas, right, North America, Greenland, Canada, Zebulon in Central America, right, Asher Naphtali in South America, Issachar, right, in North America, and even parts of Babylon too as well. So there you go. Reuben in Florida, the southern part of Babylon, the Everglades, and then you have Ephraim and Manasseh on their respective islands, along, with yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Now we know who the son of perdition is. He's also regarded as the violent man, and King David, he prophesied, right, about that man, Edom, Esau, right, the ones who are not as troubled as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Those are the Edomites, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped, so that he as the Most High sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. So he whitewashed all the icons of the Messiah, right? He changed the narrative of the Bible to fit him, starting with the Jayish people, the Amalekites. These are just the many sins that Edom committed. And we know what the scriptures say regarding the sin of blasphemy. No person can be forgiven. And Esau is guilty of that one thing. Now let's go into Genesis, the first chapter, okay? And the reason why I'm bringing this out is because the Israelite man, right, is a representation of the Most High, of what the Most High looks like. So let's get that. This Genesis 1 verse 27 says, so the Elohim, because in here this is the Elohim, it's not the Most High, it's the Elohim, created man in his own image. Okay? The image of Elohim created he him. Male and female created he them. So the Israelites were created in the image of the Most High, right, directly by the Elohim, right, which is are the angels and Yahushua, who was a part of that creation. Okay, so the Israelite man is an image of what what righteousness is supposed to be. Having the dark brown skin from light brown to dark brown, having the beard on the face, right? The men having the beards, and our women having the long hair. These are all what representations of what the Most High perceived as righteous. What's supposed to be the righteous standard of beauty, right? And when the kingdom of heaven is established, this standard of beauty will return. The Negro, or let me say the Israelites, because I don't want to just put Negro, because you also have the Northern Kingdom as well. They have their own specific look. Our beauty will be the standard of beauty throughout the whole world, and no longer will these heathens desire to look like the so-called white men, right? Pursuant to Isaiah the 14th chapter. He's going to be known as the scum of the earth. Let's get to Isaiah 14 verse 21. Now let's jump down to Isaiah 14 verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Okay, that made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, and opened not the house of his prisoners? All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, everyone in his own house. So all the other nations will what? Be lying in glory. They will receive their lands. Okay, they will be able to quote unquote govern themselves, right? But they will still be vassal states of Israel, which is our nation, the nation of Israel. But we won't bother them as long as they keep the law, statutes, commandments. But with Esau, but thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch. So Esau won't be even joined in burial. He won't have his time to rebuild after 1,000 years of slavery. He will be cut off. And as the remnant of those that are slain thrust through with a sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under feet, thou shalt not be joined with them in burial. Why? Because thou hast destroyed thy land, right? The land of Israel, and slain thy people. Okay, who? The people of Yasharallah, the children of the Most High. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned, and all the other nations will be renowned. They will have their plots of land back, right? They'll be able to contribute in society. They'll pretty much be able to enjoy, right, the rewards of righteous rulership and the perks that come with it, because there will be no more GMO foods. The water will be cleansed again. The atmosphere will be cleansed again, right? The fruits will go back to their normal size, right? Their normal sizes, meaning that they will finally reap the actual nutritional, the nutrition, what's the word I'm looking for? The nutritional value within these different fruits and vegetables. Okay, but with Esau, he's gonna be cut off pursuant to Obadiah 1 verse 18. He's gonna be cut off, right? Verse 21: Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. So the seed of evildoers will be cut off, right? Isaiah, I think that's in Isaiah 18 verse 5. It says, the light of the wicked shall be put out. So not only their knowledge will be put out, but their own life force will be put out as well. Okay, and that's after 1,000 years of slavery. Now let's go to Ecclesiastes, the 7th chapter. Okay, and actually, you know what? I'm not gonna get that. I'm not gonna get that. I think I'm gonna go ahead and end it off on there. So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying unto the elect. I wasn't planning on watching this whole video, right? Because I don't want to get copyright striked. Even though I did play I used the what's it called, the Fair Use Act, but they can still copyright your videos even if you do use that. So what I'm gonna do, I'm probably gonna, I don't know, I may leave it as a comment within the video, because they don't allow you to edit the description now. You have to do some verification. I forgot what exactly it was. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it at that. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the elect.